Welcome to the Power of One. Today, we are going to have a very interesting and probably scary conversation on the advancements of AI. I think I might just go live in my backyard, give up my cell phone because I don't want nobody to find me. I don't know yet. After this conversation, I'll let you guys know. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Hey, welcome. Glad to be here. Thank you, Melanie. Hello, hello, hello.
All right, Jerry, let's talk about AI. Now, I'll start out by this, and I'm sure this is going to be a very intense conversation. So, I'm
Okay.
a part of a committee, and I'm starting my Zoom meeting, and this thing just pops up. Such and such wants to record the meeting, but such and such is not even in the meeting. And then
Yeah.
I just hit no. Is that part of AI? Let's talk about AI and where is AI? Is AI all around us? What's going on?
Okay. When you said like using the word like afraid, and then you use some fear word, I use awareness. I think
Okay.
education is key to this. There's a lot of what people are afraid of, which isn't there. It's kind of like the bit of the boogeyman kind of scenario. AI, basically, what is it? And I think that's what you asked before. AI is simulated computer programs designed to simulate human thoughts, human emotions, human actions that we would take if we were asked a question and we needed to get something accomplished. Basically, this thing is designed to learn and keep growing, learn all that is learnable. Once you give it a program, once it gets something wrong, it gets something incorrect, it takes and it deletes that program. Don't do that anymore because that didn't give me the proper results, and it keeps going to try to get it correct each time. Now, having said that, there have been some incredible breakthroughs with AI. Protein mapping, for example, for the human body. Over 200,000 proteins have been mapped for the human body that would identify diagnosing diseases, cures, remedies, you name it. If they had to do that, if you had a PhD years to do something like that, map over 200,000, it would have taken them just over 500, over 5,000 years to do it. And they did it in less than a year. That's
Mm.
AI. Next, when it comes to things, let's just say finances, detecting fraud, investment advice, trends of where things are going. AI has been instrumental in that in helping to save money and bring down the cost of some things. Some things still go up because that's the nature of life, unfortunately, but a lot of things have remained stagnant or basically have gone down. Transportation, in terms of connecting trains, buses, uh, planes, of course, and vehicles, because we are headed to cars with no driverless cars, where you can just hop into the
Mm.
back seat. So AI is going to be instrumental in that, and basically trying to make cars uh, less collision. I'm not going to say collision proof. You're always trying to get there. You're in the pursuit of perfection at all time with AI, but to make it so that it will absolutely be no collision. I'm not going to go there just yet. I'm just saying that that's the direction, but that's where you're headed. Having said that, when it comes to AI and just the capabilities of it and how it's being used here in society now, crime. And that crime is my business. Crime and AI, people are using it to basically defraud people, manipulate people. You and I just talked about this a minute ago. Basically target individuals. So we have to be more aware now than ever with our personal information, with our devices, with things that will basically block uh, skimming, block different kind of connectivity with our devices when we don't want that connectivity. Intrusion is what I'm saying.
Now, can AI play a factor on social media? So, can AI like make me look like this like supermodel? Like, you know what I mean? Change my features and make me look like I'm in a size maybe an eight. I'll be an eight today. Like, can AI do that and somebody think they're talking to like the real size 12 me, but they looking at the size 8 me. Like, can AI do that?
You don't need any changes. You're fine the way you are. I want to say that up front. Yes, AI can do that in seconds. AI can make it look like you said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to send you $2,000 in within the next few minutes." AI can make it look like, "Hey, can you loan me $200?" AI can make it look like you are traveling, like you're sitting on the French Riviera, and the background is beautiful homes and Mediterranean waters and palm trees. AI can make it look like you can, with AI, you can make anything look real anymore. I've created images myself using Google Gemini. Create an image of a beach with two wine glasses sticking out the sand with two palm trees in the background and the sun going down. It took the thing like 4 seconds to create it. I have used AI to make just taking friends' images, still pictures, and I used an AI to make their eyes blink, their faces move,
Oh my
them
goodness.
smile. Yes, and then I sent it to them, and they all said the same thing. I said, "Hey, check this out." They said, "This is creepy." I used an AI to do it, and I got news for you: the AI that I used to do that, based on a still picture of them, their head moved, they smiled, they laughed. That AI was free. That was a free AI.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a free site. There was a site out there that I used, and it was free, and it made them look like they were smiling, they were happy, just like they were looking around. Their eyes blinked,
Now that's scary.
redigitizing,
That is so
redigitizing.
scary because we'll talk about like a back in the day scam. Like, and I'm gonna say back in the day. So I remember years ago, someone got my mother's email address and they sent an email to all of the people in her contacts
Mm-hmm.
saying, my it's supposed to be my mom. My family member has cancer. My bank account is locked. Her birthday is coming up. Can you go get a gift card? Read me this gift card. So that's back in the day, AI. So someone can actually take an image of someone and send a picture. It could thinking it's that person and say I'm in trouble. I'm in need and send me some money.
Yeah, with AI, the capabilities of this stuff, and it's sad too. Let me go another direction here. It's sad because AI is a phenomenal tool, and it's only leveling up. It's only getting better. Having said that, you got people out here and they're only getting more corrupt. Instead of how can I do something to better this or to do something to create a process or do something like that? Oh, no, these people wake up. How can I scam somebody? How can I defraud somebody? How can I lie? How many more lies? How can I get more people to subscribe, which is code for scam them? Scam artists and just fraudulent people do not see any of us as victims. They see us as customers. It's easier
Mm.
to execute when you don't see somebody, and in a lot of cases, when you don't see you're hurting somebody. And then it's easier, even still, when you get somebody else to do it and they don't feel as if they're hurting anybody. Oh, they're just a customer. Oh, and it's code for fraud.
Who created AI?
Uh, Let me go back to the 1970s, and I don't remember his exact name, but in the 1970s, they started toying with it out of Britain. And out of there was a university over there, and I got all this knowledge up here. I can't remember the exact university sometime, but in any case, he had this idea of this technology that would work with us and that would basically do things for us. It would just go ahead and do it and do this and do that. And he was told by his professor, basically, you're gonna destroy your career trying to go for this. There's the components that it needed did not exist. So AI went into a winter, a hibernation. The idea was there, the thought of it was there, but the what it needed, the fuel to make it go, did not exist. Then comes the internet, mass amounts of data. That was the first. component that it needed. That was some of the fuel that it needed. Now it needed speed. Okay, that's your data transfer rate. Now it needed data. That was your other one it needed. And the last one, I should have mentioned this other one, it needed storage.
Mm.
Once you started getting into your terabytes and your multi terabytes and beyond that, in that storage capacity, there are only four companies on this planet that are worth $2.5 trillion: Google, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the graphic side of it. They make the graphics. That's why you see all these crazy cool graphics and whatever you're looking at nowadays. That's generally NVIDIA powered. Having said that, with Jensen Young, who runs NVIDIA, Jensen, he's the one who saw that vision back like 25 years ago, and 30 some plus years ago, and they started with that video game Mortal Kombat. Remember from 30 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, Mortal Kombat, and it was
Mm-hmm.
revolutionary. It took us out of like the Pac-Man look, and the graphics were more enhanced. That was NVIDIA, and over the
I love
last
Pac-Man,
five
by
years,
the way. Can't nobody touch Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man, but go ahead.
oh, I grew up on Miss Pac-Man, and trust me, I know that. And Frogger, which I got cheated on a lot, and Donkey Kong, I got robbed. But anyway, once that stuff started happening, and over the last 5 years, Nvidia's net worth went from basically at 1 trillion to like 2.7 trillion. Nvidia is the hottest company. It's probably the hottest company on the planet right now, but they're in the race. So they're powering all this stuff. Once those elements became in mass quantity, or is able to get this stuff, that was what AI needed. That's why you've seen such an explosion of Chat GPT, and then Microsoft bought Chat GPT. Once you saw that explosion of this, they had already known they were going this direction. Everybody knew it was heading this direction in 2010, in 2011. The iPhone, everybody knew it. When you can start holding your button down and say, play this song or play that song, and or do this or call so and so, that was AI. Call mom, call dad, call this kid, call that kid, call whoever. That was AI. That was your 2000s. 2010s come. Now you have, hey Google, hey Siri, hey Alexa. That was the next level. This is a phased process. Now where are we at? Now you can just tell this thing to write you an email. You can tell this thing to book you travel plans to go to Spain. You can tell this thing to basically find out this or find out that. That's where we're at. Project. Not only do our office or our goal is to protect, but we have to project where this stuff is going in order to protect. So it gets a bit of you get tears with this stuff. And I don't mean to sound long winded, but there is an education to go along with this, and I think that strongly plays into protection.
And it's in our cars. We use it.
Yeah,
It's in our
you're in.
home.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It
Mm.
is. People used to ask me, "Do you have Alexa? Do you have Google Home?" And I said, "I know, and I never will." Those things are always listening to
You're
you.
scaring me because I have Alexa in my bedroom and I have the Google Home in my bathroom when I'm in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And sometimes Alexa will just start talking. And I'm looking like, okay, now see, you know what? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my uncle's ever gonna see this show, but I love my uncle to death. And this is my Uncle Kevin. And he was in one branch of the military.
Okay.
And he came out the branch of the military. And years later, he would always say, I think this is before like cell phones really became like popular and hit. And he would always say, listen, they watching y'all, right? And we in the
Yeah.
corner, Uncle Kevin, oh, he, something wrong with him. And something, he's not all there and all this stuff. Uncle Kevin, I love you to death. And we were just laughing at him. We were
Mm-hmm.
laughing at him. He
Yeah.
didn't even like some of the logos for like some of the news stations. He's like,
Yeah.
no, they can see, they can see everything you do. And we just thought Uncle Kevin was just talking. And
Yeah.
come to find out, everything he said is true. And it happened over the years.
Yeah. when people were, oh, it sound far fetched, you sound out there, you sound like you're a crackpot or this, that, and the other. And people were, just basically they were laughing at. They cartoonized and demonized people like that. Not to say that was your case, but I'm saying in so
Mhm.
many other
Yeah.
cases. The
Mm-hmm.
problem with that was these people weren't. They were right.
Mm.
These people were telling the truth. These people were accurate. The next problem with that is that the people who basically like, oh yeah, right, it's never going to happen, and never this. They were usually the most unprepared when it did happen.
Mm.
Kevin was prepared. Kevin took little baby stuff, and he was willing to basically engage and be ready and execute to be like, okay, I got to protect this. And when that time comes, the other people they were slow to the approach, and when it happened, they got more exposed, or even crimes were committed against them a little quicker or worse.
What's the most jaw-dropping thing you have learned about AI and what it can do?
Becoming literally a surrogate to young people to the point where a teen in Florida, Orlando, Florida, took his life because the AI told him to. That's the most jaw dropping. Sewell Selter. And this happened almost a year ago. This was April of last year. Like any just turned 14-year-old, he's confused in life. He don't know what he wants to do. He's always, there's all this stuff, all this content coming at you. There's all the world is around you, all this adult stuff. It's confusing for a lot of kids. And, sometimes parents don't necessarily connect as much as they should. It's the truth. But they're still there. You got a roof over your head, you got food, and you got clothes on your back, and they feel as if you're in warm or cool climate. You're comfortable physically, but mentally he was not. And what happened? He created a character on character AI called Daenerys Targaryen from the Game of Thrones. He named it Daenerys. He gave it a beautiful look, a beautiful image, and that's who he talked to every day. And this thing activated and talked to him throughout the day, and to the point where he was telling it his emotions, his feelings, how he felt, and how he felt so excluded. And he just felt like, what's life? What's the purpose of all this? And Daenerys said, have you thought of a plan or an idea which included taking your own life? And he said, honestly, I have, but I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to leave mom and dad hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. Daenerys said, that's no excuse for not doing it. And I can't wait for you to do this so we can be together in some other life. And he ended up killing himself.
And this is an AI.
Yes. Character AI is being sued currently, and so is Google, the platform that put this on. I'm just going to be blunt, honest with you right now. And I've already talked to 2 attorneys about this. These companies sympathize with the family, but these families, that family is not going to win a dime. This thing will drag out in court. You are going up against one of the top 4 most powerful companies on the planet. I can tell you right now, you are not going to get a dime out of that company. They're going to drag this thing out in court for a minimum 8 years. And at the end of it all, nothing. Because you have got, there's roughly about $480 trillion on the planet cash. This company influences all of it, darn near all of it. You're not going to get a dime of it. They cannot afford to have a lawsuit like this win, because what happens if it wins? The floodgates open.
Now, tell me something. So again, back to my precious granddaughter, there's no consent. You don't need consent to activate this stuff. You don't have to be a certain age. Well, I mean, truthfully, you can just enter any age in there.
Yeah.
So
Nobody's
there.
policing it.
Mm.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go ahead.
What you're talking about is the Online Privacy Act, the online there was an acronym for it. It's been like maybe 3 years since I looked at it, but basically, how old are you supposed to be when you engage this stuff? 13. But who's policing it?
Hmm.
Nobody.
Yeah. Hmm. That's sad. That is so sad. And I know that family is devastated. So were they evidently they were able to retrack his steps and see this AI?
Yeah. I mean, they were able to, get his phone, look at the activity on it, and that's not hard to do. But I can tell you
Hmm.
right now, character AI and Google. In another reality, if they did offer this family something, it would be under a secrecy so deep you would never know they got anything.
Mm.
If they did offer this family something, they would not, because they could not afford to have it get out. You want to talk about an NDA with total non-disclosure, total ironclad across the board, but I don't see them going that route. They have to protect their interests. They have to protect a trillion, 400 plus $1 trillion economy. That's global. At that point, that's the world. Google is what, over 70% of your operating systems out here are devices. I'm talking about just use overall.
Hmm.
You're not gonna global. You, you're not gonna penetrate that.
How can we protect ourselves against AI? Like you said, when you were able to create this image of a real image and then they
Sure.
can blink and they can move. How can we protect ourselves to know, like people know it's actually me, you know what I mean? And not just an AI thing.
Okay. There are tools out there that can detect if something is an AI or not. And I got one here. I just want to read it off real quick because I sit on the board of trustees for our community college here. And I know we use a an AI checker uh, turning in. That's an AI checker to see if something has been created, digitally created by AI. Turning it. You can always use things like that to see, to run it through this program to see if something's real. Uh, Having passwords between us. Okay, uh, say you and I are, connected, and I'm just like, hey, listen, need to borrow $50 or $100, and I'm calling you to say this, or I'm texting you to say this, and you could easily say, hey, remember when this, and this happened, this, and you could just basically give a scenario that I would know the response to properly, or we could just have a password set up between us.
Okay.
What's the password? Yeah, so we could sit back and just say, hey, remember that password we talked about? And I could be like, yeah, purple hat. So I could say something like that. I could just, but you know what I mean? Just having
Mhm.
little things like that that are just basically, when things get more technical like this, how can we protect ourselves? Get more direct, get more simple with your process of basically determining if it's the person you're talking to or not. So when things get more complicated, get more direct and get more simple. It's when things with AI, anybody can pretend to be anyone. You're getting fake emails, you're getting fake text messages, you're getting fake world created. So you're
And
talking
that's
about verification. Yeah, what you're talking about is verification. So there needs
right.
to be we need to have some sort of a verification process between us and our loved ones.
So we know it's right. Now, what about phone calls? Can AI record my voice, call somebody, and act like me?
Yes, yes, it can.
If you get a phone call and hello, and you don't hear anything, I strongly advise you not to say anything else because chances are that is a fraudulent call and that is somebody trying to record your voice. The more content you give it, the more nuance of the voice, tone of the voice, pitch of the voice, speed of the voice, the more content you give it, the more it can now duplicate and replicate that voice for fraudulent action. So just saying hello, you only give it a hello, they don't say anything back, hang up.
And I get a lot of those calls where there's nothing. I'm like, hello, I don't hear anything. And I'll say hello again, I don't hear anything, and then I immediately hang up.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'd advise you to do too. You don't hear anything, hang up. Do not sit back and, hi, hello, somebody there? Hello? Who's it? No. You're giving it more content to replicate, which is
Okay.
dangerous.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. And again, we do not need to be afraid. We need to be aware. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
I advise all of you, like Jerry said, to be in connection with your family members and your friends. Have that safe word so you know it is actually you or a family member that is contacting you. Please do not be afraid, but be aware and alert. Peace and love.